Okay, so here in Massachusetts, we have this woman named Annie Ducan, and you really got to look into this. Here's a prime example of how much damage one woman can do. They're about to release 23,000 prisoners in Massachusetts, the biggest release of prisoners in U.S. history, all because this one woman in a crime lab here in Massachusetts falsified evidence of 23,000 people and put them in jail falsely. Men, innocent men. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this, and then I want to also read a comment by this woman whose son went through some stuff that it's just an incredible comment this woman left. Of just of an example of how a crazy woman can get a kid from you and just keep it and ruin your life. But anyway, first let's talk about Annie Ducan. 23,000 current prisoners are expected to be released from the Massachusetts state prison system because the female lab chemist handling evidence in their cases lied, forged colleagues' signatures, and purposefully, this is Return of the Kings, by the way, where I'm reading this article, and purposefully contaminated evidence. Here is the story of Annie Ducan, nicknamed Superwoman, for her record productivity at the state crime lab. Yeah, she's Superwoman, all right. Annie Ducan, a female born in Trinidad and Tobago in 1977, I don't know where that is, moved to the United States. As a child, became a chemist. So she was a foreigner and a female, and she was probably given just absolute preferential treatment by the system. Became a chemist and took a job at the state crime lab in Massachusetts, where she earned the nickname Superwoman due to her speed and efficiency. Yeah, she was really efficient, running lab tests primarily on criminal drug cases. Her productivity was so high, she was processing 4 times the work of the average government lab worker. Oh, that didn't make people a little suspicious? Or was she? Annie's secret was to not test the samples at all, but to take the shortcut by lying and confirming that whatever substance police told her to check for was present, or to contaminate evidence, or forge coworkers' signatures guaranteeing the chain of custody of evidence. This is just incredible. And it gets further into it about how she wanted attention and she wanted to be liked and she was nerdy and hardworking and and then she gets married and isn't happy, and then she's complaining to the DA, and there's probably collusion between her and the DA and the police. Who even knows, man? I mean, it's just 23,000 people, and that doesn't even count all the families that were ruined, like marriages, relationships, children. I mean, it's just so incredible. You cannot make this kind of stuff up. You know what I'm saying? You cannot make this kind of stuff up. So there's that. I just wanted to read that, and I just wanted to. Here's a comment I read. I received not too long ago, and I'm just gonna read some of the comments off. I get some really good comments. This one was just incredible. A MGTOW horror story. So this is a combination, news article about a woman who ruined the lives of hundreds of thousands of people, really, if you total it up, and also it is a MGTOW horror story video, and I got to make this quick, so let me just right here. This is on the video where I basically explode over the girl's son I know that was killed in our foster care system by a female lawyer. Another prime example of women making the world better in our justice system. It's just incredible. It's like confirmed in triplicates. My head spins constantly with the shit that goes on. Here we go. Blues Girl Babe says, I am a mother of a 30-year-old son. We are a typical middle-class family with a retail store that we have built over 30 years. To try to make a long story short, and this is a long story, but she does a good job. He had a couple of months relationship, that's her son, 8 years ago, and as a parent, you step back and try not to be judgmental as to who your children choose to hang out with and let them learn from their mistakes. Every other family member besides me had misgivings about this girl, and amongst ourselves discussed that something was definitely off. For example, the first thing out of her mouth when meeting my older son and his two children was, I am infertile and can't ever have kids. At one point, I don't know if that's like really kind of off, but a little bit, I guess. It's kind of personal. At one point, she said she had to go to the emergency because her extreme ovarian cysts and endometriosis that caused her infertility were painful. Our son is a caring individual and naively believed every word, but still refused to have sex with her without a condom. Smart guy. Turns out, but that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. It turns out that when her stories of infertility were working for him to have unprotected sex with her, weren't working for him to have unprotected sex with her, she went to the next step and bought a turkey baster. Of course, the old turkey baster method. As soon as her scheme worked, she got pregnant. No doubt she pregnancy tested herself. She started acting crazy and wearing a helmet she made out of tinfoil on her head to protect herself from aliens. And this girl has the kid now, too. And locked herself in the bathroom crying that she was cutting herself, and my son called the police to help. They removed her immediately, not letting her take anything other than a purse she had with her in the bathroom, and took her to the hospital for evaluation. I started looking through some belongings she had in a spare room, and there was the turkey baster and 3 used condoms. We were in extreme shock already, and the biggest regret of my life is that I never immediately called the police back to bag that evidence. She threw it in the garbage. It probably wouldn't have mattered. It probably wouldn't have mattered. The next day, the police contacted us to say that the psych ward said there was nothing wrong with her, and that she had been put on a bus to go back to the place she came from. Well, her devious plan had worked, and now my son, and she talks about it, how it's just, he's trying to get a master's degree, he's talked about killing himself, he has to pay support, not based on his real income, but on what the courts think he should be making, she says. I mean, he makes less than $15,000 a year while doing his bachelor's science degree, which is about all you can make over the 4 summer months. but have impugned that he should have been working a 40-hour-a-week job all year long and based child support and based. Where is it? I just lost it. I was trying to be support payments on that larger amount. Yes. So they made up an imaginary amount and took that. And she explains, how can anyone even work that much while doing a master's degree? Try even finding a job that will work around your college schedule and pay you everything you need to, live alone. You go out, you leave your parents' house, you're going to pay rent, utilities, transportation, food, entertainment, toiletries, any kind of supplies. I mean, you can go out to lunch now and spend $10. I mean, or $15 easy on one person. So I mean, it's just you can't. It's become nigh impossible unless you get preferential treatment, and you're a woman or a foreigner, basically. So there's that, and I just wanted to do another video. I haven't done one in a while, and I hope you guys stay safe out there. And all I can say is, if you're not like a Christian like me, go MGTOW. You know what I mean? Go MGTOW. You know, protect yourself. The lady, the mother of that son I just read said, freeze your sperm, freeze your eggs, get your life in order, and don't tell any women that you have eggs frozen, and then later on, you know, have kids or whatever. But when you're all set. But yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for tuning in.